Welcome to Flawless Shoe Reviews. Today I'm going to talk you through the 5 best shoes for city walking. I'm also going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they go on city walks in terms of causing foot discomfort, and I'll break down the key features of each shoe so you know which is the right one for you. So first of all, when we talk about some of the mistakes that we see people make, it's important to keep in mind that you're likely to do a significant amount more steps than you normally do, and therefore you need adequate support underneath your feet. So don't opt for something that's light and slim just because it fits into your suitcase. Think about wearing something that you're used to wearing or something that's really supportive. The second mistake that we often see people make is they opt for shoes that they haven't worn before, so they think they're going on holiday or to do a new trip, and therefore they buy new shoes for the occasion. Always think about breaking in the shoes before you wear them. Thirdly, just because you go for a max cushion shoe doesn't mean that it's going to give you the right type of support underneath your foot. You can have different types of cushioning, some that are really soft that make the shoe really unstable, or you can have really firm cushioning that's a lot harder than what you might be used to. So when we think about all of that, let's talk about our shoes. When we look at one of our first options, it's the Cloudtilt. Now this is a shoe that was specifically designed for walking by the Cloud brand, which is signified by the holes in its midsole. Now I don't know if you noticed, but the prototype of the Cloud was designed using garden hose pipes that were cut and filled in along the insole to try and give some extra padding and shock absorption, and that's how they decided on the prototype of having holes within the shoe. Anyway, back to the Cloudtilt. It's one of the more supportive shoes compared to the Cloud 6, which is more for shorter distance walking. We have a comparison of these two if you want to check it out. It's got a nice broad base of support. The cushioning is firm but relatively balanced overall, so when you apply pressure to it, you sink into it. It's relatively comfortable whether you're standing for long periods of time or you want to use it for walking for longer periods. One of the features that we really like about it is that it's got a slip-on with elastic lacing, so you can tighten up the speed lacing to what you prefer, and then you just slip on the shoe and go. It's really convenient for when you're on the move. It's got a normal fit in the toe box, so it's got plenty of space for your toes to display, and it's true to size and length, so you don't need to size up or down. It's got a nice rocker in the forefoot, and it's got plenty of flexibility in the forefoot as well for those of you who need that extra bit of movement. It does have an element of rigidity to it, however it's what we classify as a classic neutral shoe, so it doesn't have enough stability features to make it a stable neutral, which we'll talk about later. So if you're looking for a lightweight, nimble shoe that you can just slip on, that's got balanced cushioning, then the Cloud is an excellent option for you. Then if we look more towards a max cushion shoe, we don't get much more max cushion than the Glycerin Max. So it's got a huge amount of padding underneath your foot, but despite looking like it's got a max amount of cushion that's super soft, it's actually relatively balanced overall. So it's not too unstable given the amount of cushioning underneath your foot. It's got a low drop, so that's the height difference from the back to the front of the shoe, and that creates an even distribution of pressure across your foot. So if you're on a city break or you're walking for long periods of time, or you're standing in a museum for instance, that nice even distribution of pressure across the foot makes sure that you don't get too many hot spots. It's got an excellent forefoot rocker, and that facilitates the push-off phase of the gait cycle. It has some sidewalls on the inside and the outside of the shoe. This is where the midsole comes up, cradles your foot to give it extra elements of stability, and that's to compensate for the fact that it's got so much cushioning underneath your foot. It comes in a normal fit on top, and it's true to size and length with plenty of padding around the heel cup. So this is an excellent option if you're looking for a shoe with loads of cushioning underneath your foot that isn't too unstable, and it's quite balanced overall, and it's probably got the best forefoot rocker of all 5 shoes that we're going to talk to you about today. Then I'm going to move on to a more stability based shoe, and that's the Hoka Arahi 8. So it's had a major update compared to the last 2 models, and they've changed the type of stability that you have in the shoe. So where in the past we had a J-frame that just provided support mainly on the inside of the shoe, it now has a H-frame designed with denser foam on either side of the midsole. That focuses on keeping you centered in the shoe as you walk. So if you're someone who struggles with ankle instability, rolling their ankle innocuously, having that H-frame keeps you nice and centered in the shoe to help to control the motion of the foot. Not only that, it has larger sidewalls on the inside and the outside of the shoe than what we saw in the Glycerin Max, and it's got a nice broad base of support to increase the amount of contact that you have with the ground. On top, it's a slightly narrower fit, so it's got less space in the toe box than we saw on the other 2 shoes, but it does come in a wide version for those of you with a broader foot. It's a true to size and length, but just it's important to note that it's got a little bit lower volume in the toe box as well. So those of you with any sensitivity on the top of their toes, or particularly those of you who have bunions who have sensitivity on the top, it's something to note that you may not enjoy it in this type of shoe. It's got nice padding around the tongue and the heel cup as well. It's got an 8mm drop, so slightly higher than some of the other shoes, so that can place extra pressure on the forefoot when standing for long periods of time. It's got an excellent forefoot rocker, and it's a terrific shoe if you're looking for a mild to moderate stability shoe. It's got relatively plush cushioning, so you sink into it a little bit softer than what we see in the on Cloudtilt, and an excellent option for walking and for standing for long periods of time. Then I want to move on to one of the most popular shoes in the New Balance range, and that's the New Balance AAE V15. So it's got a relatively balanced midsole as well, so it's not too soft, a bit more on the firmer side of things. If you're looking for a much softer version of the New Balance, you might look towards the 1080 V14, and we've got a comparison video between these two shoes if you want to check it out on the channel. So this is an excellent option for day-to-day walking. It's a bit of a workhorse of a shoe, so if you're doing huge amounts of mileage and you want a classic neutral shoe, then this is an excellent option with its broad base of support. It's got loads of space in the toe box in the normal version, but it comes a wide and an extra wide version as well for those of you who need the space. It's got a true to size and length, plenty of padding around the heel cup, and nice flexibility around the heel counter. So those of you with sensitivity around the back of your heel, you may enjoy a shoe like the A80 V15. Underneath the shoe, it's got plenty of grip if you're walking on wetter surfaces, and it's got a relatively stiff forefoot, so those of you who need a little bit of extra protection underneath the ball of your foot, this can be an excellent option for you. Then finally, I want to talk about more of a max stability shoe, and that's the Asics Gel-Kayano 32. So it has a 4D guidance system to provide stability, so it's got a denser tab underneath the arch of the foot that pushes up onto the arch for those of you who like direct support underneath the arch of your foot. It's got a broad base of support, it's got loads of sole flare in the forefoot, and that's where the sole comes out wider than where your foot sits in the shoe to give you extra contact with the ground and make the shoe a bit more stable. And it's got the largest sidewalls on the inside and the outside of the shoe of all 5 shoes that we talked about to you today. Then on top of the shoe, it's got a nice engineered mesh. It's got plenty of space in the toe box, so slightly wide in the toe box in the normal fit, and it comes in a wide and an extra wide as well. It's got plenty of volume in the toe box, it's true to size and length, much thinner tongue on top compared to the other 4 shoes, and it's got the most padding around the heel cup for those of you who like a snug fit, with a nice pull-on tab as well on the heel counter and on the tongue. So it's got very plush cushioning, so it's probably the softest of all 5 shoes, so when you initiate contact with the ground, you sink into it, it's really comfortable, real cloud-like feel, and then it has the stability elements of the shoe to make sure that you're not moving all around due to the extra softness of the cushioning. So if you want a really comfortable shoe for standing for long periods of time, you want lots of stability underneath the arch of your foot and your foot in general, then the Asics Gel-Kayano 32 can be an excellent option for you. So all 5 shoes provide different elements of support. As we touched on, we got a moderate to max stability shoe with plush cushioning in the Gel-Kayano 32. We've got a more mild to moderate stability shoe that focuses on keeping you centered in the shoe rather than a classic arch support in the Hoka Arahi 8. We've got a max cushion shoe in the Glycerin Max. We've got an easy slip-on shoe that's convenient for walking and moving around in the on Cloudtilt, and we've got a really balanced workhorse of a shoe in the New Balance A80 V15. I've got links to all 5 shoes in the description below. If you buy through the links on Amazon, it helps fund our channel without affecting the price that you pay, so that's really appreciated. Otherwise, if you just find the video helpful or interesting, liking, sharing and subscribing does make a massive difference to us. And if you've got any questions on the shoes, please drop them in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching.